Not quite my tempo.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
What else could you be doing or looking at on this special Tuesday night than Multiplex loves movies? This is it. It's the show. We're here. Episode 64. We're talking about movie news. There's actually some stuff to talk about this week. Some good stuff, some interesting stuff that I'm excited to talk about. Let's bring in first Maggie Brzakala is back. Maggie, hello. How are you?
I'm good. When did I go away? Why do you say I'm back?
I just mean like you're back again. Like here you
I'm
go.
here. Yeah.
Like again. Like woo. Here you go.
Okay.
Next we'll bring in Mr. Boatman, Bellac Manboat. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. I did a thing today, and I'm a child, so I like everything I do more if I receive a sticker afterwards.
That's fair. We got our stickers a month and a half ago and we voted then, and we've just been holding on to them until now. Let's bring in producer extraordinaire Kaleb Koho.
I lost my sticker and I'm sad.
You lost your sticker.
I got my sticker, and my intent was that on this day I would wear it. And then life exploded and I have no idea where it is. So
that is sad.
It is sad. I never got to wear my I voted sticker.
Because this is the first presidential election you guys have voted in.
Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
Well, there you go. The last one was the first one, I think, for us, right, Maggie?
Presidential, yeah.
I think. How old am I? I think the one before that. I think the second.
2014.
I think the one. When was so? It was 2014.
So
right?
It was 2008 and then 2012.
2012. I was a year
So
off.
we were way too young.
That's
but we
what it
voted
was.
in 2014, and that was a big governor's race.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. I think I was a year off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So woof. But anyway, we're here. And we're gonna talk about some movie news. Like I said, some good stuff. But also we're gonna start off the show with some sad stuff because something sad happened this week. We lost a great one. We lost Mr. Connery, James Bond himself, Indiana Jones's dad, if you want to call him. This is a sad one, but Sean Connery, 90 years old, lived a full life, had a huge career, Academy Award winner for the Untouchables ? Thank you, Warzone champ. This one, I mean, it's very sad. Like a lot of people, he is the definitive Bond for a lot of people. To me, my favorite thing for Sean Connery will always be Last Crusade, because I didn't really watch Bond growing up, but we did watch Indiana Jones, so that was kind of it for me. And then also Hunt for Red October was one that I watched a lot growing up. My dad is a big Jack Ryan fan, so I watched that movie a lot with him. So like this is a sad one, but he was 90. He lived a full life, a great career. So yeah, it's always sad when we lose one of the greats, but I'm happy that he got to have his career. He retired on his own terms back in the day after he made that shit box of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So, Boatman, I'll go to you next. What are some of your favorite Sean Connerys? And
I mean, a lot of the ones you mentioned already. Last Crusade is like the one that I watched the most as a kid. I am on record of saying I don't like this movie, but his cameo at the end makes the end of that movie worth it. At the end of Robin Hood, when he comes in as King Richard, that moment is legitimately great. I really like him as King Agamemnon in Time Bandits. He's really good in that. That's like the dorky Boatman movie that I really like. He's also really good in The Untouchables. Like he's fantastic in that film. Yeah. Oh, underrated one. The Man Who Would Be King. It's him and Michael Caine. They find this basically ancient civilization, and they basically are mistaken for gods. It's basically Road to El Dorado, but played a little more straight, and it's great.
All right, Koho, what about you?
Bowen kind of took a lot of them. The big one for me is Indiana Jones. It always will be. But Finding Forrester, I think he is another one that he did later in his life that I thought he was really good in. And the role that I always will wish that he did take that he turned down in Skyfall. Would have been nice to see him play that one time. Kincaid, the guy who runs the estate, was supposed to be Sean Connery.
Oh,
he turned that role down. He was supposed to come out of retirement and play that part.
That makes me a sad boy.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was supposed to be his final film role, and he turned it down because he wasn't feeling good. But yeah, Sean Connery is going to be one of the all-time greats. I will always remember seeing Last Crusade and James Bond and just gravitating to him. I saw Untouchables for the first time this year. He deserved his Oscar for that. He was incredible in it. Yeah.
Is that a supporting role Oscar?
Yep.
Yeah, we own it. We haven't watched it quite yet. Another one that I just thought of too was something Maggie and I watched recently, The Rock. Say what you will about Michael Bay, but The Rock slaps, and he's great in that movie. Maggie, what about you?
Yeah, I'm looking at his IMDb because all I could think of was Bond and Indiana Jones of things that I've seen him in, but then I totally forgot that The Rock is a movie that I have seen and that he is in. I really didn't know who he was until I started dating Tim. So, but I think he's really good in Indiana Jones, and I could care less about Bond. So
that's fair. That's fair. But anyway, rest in peace, Mr. Connery. You will be missed. But let's move on to the next big thing. I have lots of thoughts on this. I don't think any of you will, but that's okay. Tom Holland has wrapped production on Uncharted, the newest film from Sony based on a video game that I played. Koho, have you played these games?
I have.
Oh, perfect. So great. Boatman and Maggie definitely haven't, I would say. But
is it a Nintendo game? If the answer is no, I haven't.
It's so weird because I swear Boatman would love these games.
He would. He would love these.
These are very Boatman games.
So basically, any of these games on the PlayStation 3.
Yes,
most of them.
The first three.
See if I can find a used copy because I own a PlayStation 3.
Yeah, all three of the first three are all on PS3. So basically the pitch for Uncharted, if you don't know what it is there's a guy, Nathan Drake. He's a treasure hunter, and this is what he looks like in the video game. And this is what he looks like in the movie. Don't share the other one yet because I want that to be a surprise. But he's a treasure hunter. He's very whimsical. The reason why a lot of people wanted Nathan Fillion to play him in the movie. He's very much like Nathan Fillion, like beat for beat. It's very similar to Nathan Fillion and the roles that he's done. But he's a treasure hunter. He has a guy that basically like his mentor is named Sully, and they go on adventures. He falls in love, but then he does, it's basically Indiana Jones, but
modern.
A lot more mystical elements. It's very grounded in reality, but there are also a lot of mystical elements that come along with it. So let's throw that image from the game back up again. So again, this is what he looks like in the cover of Uncharted 3. This is probably the most famous Nathan Drake image you could find. And then we throw Tom Holland up again. So Tom Holland's a little young. Nathan Drake's supposed to be an older guy. Like, and by older, I mean like in the first game, maybe like late 20s. And by the end of the fourth game, he's probably mid 40s, almost 50 by that point, maybe. That fourth game is the end of his career. Just for context, now let's throw that picture up of Sully from the game. So this is what Sully, his mentor, looks like in the game. He's an older guy. He smokes cigars. He's a pilot, pretty cool grizzled guy. And let's look at Mark Wahlberg in the movie as this character.
That's Mark Wahlberg.
It's just Mark
let's
Wahlberg.
let's go back to the one from the game. Okay, movie again. Interesting. These are. It hurts my soul. No, there's a rumor that he's gonna have the mustache. I don't know. Fucking yikes. But no, this I don't know. Video game movies are so hit or miss. I think Tom Holland will be good. There is a section of a couple of the games where we do see a younger Nathan Drake, like in his like teenage years, but it doesn't look, based off the image, it doesn't look like that's where they're going. It looks like they're making him older. I don't know. But Maggie, based off just the images and the pitch that I've given you, how do you feel about this movie?
I mean, you've always told me about the story, and it's always sounded like something I would enjoy. I like a good, adventure story. I really like the image of Tom Holland. I agree with you based on like looking at the video game. He is a little bit young, but it seems like overall they otherwise seem to nail what he should look like. That doesn't mean that we know what he's going to act like, and I obviously won't have that context the way that you do, but I'm excited overall. That image of Mark Wahlberg is a little ridiculous when you like compare it to the other one. I don't know how they can go from that and then later in the movie he looks different unless there's like a significant like flash forward.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. I'm excited. Video game movies still have a lot to prove. So.
Yep. Boatman. A, how do you feel about the images? And B, are you more interested in this movie if I tell you that it's being directed by Ruben Fleischer of Venom and Zombieland fame?
Well, first question. I actually have a follow-up question. Is the Mark Wahlberg image, is that an official studio released image, or is that something like the press?
It was tweeted out, I think, by a reporter.
Okay.
The Tom Holland one is official studio.
Yeah, the Tom Holland one is official. For me, when there are reporter images, I'm always a little like, well, let's wait and see, because if everybody remembers the Captain Marvel one, right? When everyone's like, oh, they're going to use a blue suit for the entire movie, and then it's like, no, that's just for when she's Kree for like the first 20 minutes, and then they use the traditional Captain Marvel suit. Like, there are multiple moments where like, that has happened. So we'll wait and see what the actual like official studio releases. That could be a flashback scene that they were shooting for all we know.
Sure. That's fair.
In terms of the actual movie, Ruben Fleischer, I still haven't seen Venom 100%. But I like the Zombieland movies. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know. The game sounds interesting. And I'm very much sold on the game. I still don't trust video game movies, so we'll see.
That's fair. Koho, you're a big fan of the Zombieland franchise.
I
am. You've played these games, so what's your take?
I don't really like the idea of us doing a younger Nathan Drake. Not a fan. I don't see why we have to deviate from the 4 games. The 4 games are great, and the story through all 4 is really strong. All you gotta do is to do the story, and you got a home run. So I don't know why they're deviating that much. Tom Holland's a fine pick, I guess, for a younger Nathan Drake. I'm not sold on Mark Wahlberg as Sully at all. But at this point, we'll just see. I'll just continue to replay Uncharted 4 till the day I die because that's my favorite one. But
bless you, my God.
Sorry.
Yeah, Uncharted 4 slaps 100%. Okay, let's move on to the next story. We're going to talk about the MCU, specifically Thor and Thor 4, Love and Thunder. Natalie Portman is back, and she's talked a little bit about how what she's going to be doing in this movie. And it's confirmed. She's going to be all powerful. She's going to have some powers. And she's confirmed she will be able to wield Mew Mew. So that is news. Mew Mew. It's Mew Mew. So she will be able to wield it. But she also said in the same context, her powers will not be the same as Thor. It won't be just a female Thor, she will have new abilities that are different from his, but she will be able to wield the hammer. Are you Natalie Portman, goddess of hammers? Or are you Natalie Portman, goddess of we don't know? I'm excited about this. I don't love Natalie Portman as an actress. I think when she has the right director and the right script, she's very good. When she doesn't have a good director to help her, I don't think she's as good. And I think there's a lot of tape to prove that. That being said, I think Taika is a master. He is incredible and knows what he's doing. So I'm excited about this. Koho, what are your thoughts on this situation?
It sounds like they're taking a lot of inspiration from the recent Mighty Thor arc that they did a couple years ago during All New, All Different Marvel. And it was a good run. I don't know. Like, Taika's going to do what he's going to do, and I think it's going to be fun. I just don't really love the character of Jane Foster. Never really have. I think she's going to be fine. I'm interested to see how Mjolnir is going to be back in the modern timeline. And I'm interested to see what that means. Maybe they make a new Mjolnir that has new powers. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to see it, obviously. This is not going to... They can't deter me from seeing it. So I'm also just hyped for Christian Bale as a bad guy. I'm so excited for that.
Forgetting about that.
I'm so excited for Christian Bale to be the bad guy at the next one. But yeah, I'll see Thor: Love and Thunder. I think it's gonna be good.
Maggie, what's your take on Natalie Portman?
No, I'm very excited to have her back. I am probably I do find her annoying in specifically Thor: The Dark World. But I like her and Chris Hemsworth together, and I like Jane and Thor's relationship, so I'm happy to see it continue, and I'm happy to get another, superpowered female in the MCU, as long as they don't shove it down my throat like they have in the past. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I can't believe that Thor Ragnarok came out 3 years ago. Like, that came across my
this weekend
feed, and I was like, I feel like that was like 6 months ago. Like, okay.
6 months ago, we were eating ravioli with our bare hands in quarantine while absolutely shithoused. Boatman, your take on how do you feel about Thor as a whole? And are you excited that Natalie Portman will be back?
Here's the thing. First Thor, meh. Thor Dark World, I hate it. Thor Ragnarok was amazing. I thought Jane Foster was boring in those first two movies, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, I trust Taika Waititi. And if this is what he wants to do, and this is the character he wants to deal with, then I think he has a unique and interesting direction for Jane Foster. And I think, ultimately, if you asked me how I felt about the Thor character before Ragnarok came out, I would have probably put him as my least favorite Avenger. Now that Ragnarok has come out, he's one of my favorites. He's way more interesting after Ragnarok. And ultimately, I think that Taika is going to be able to do for Jane Foster what he did for Thor.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. We're going to stay in the world of Marvel. News came out. Kevin Feige talked about it. Blade was originally going to be a Disney Plus show. But then they cast Mahershala Ali, and they said, we got to do this thing on the big screen. This makes me very happy. I think Blade is a character that would actually be served really well from a show. I just think the whole character, the world of Blade would fit really well in a television series. That being said, this character is going to be in the MCU. So I think it's deserving of the big scale movie budget thing. I think this is going to be awesome. Mahershala Ali, we've said it on the show when he was cast. Brilliant. He's amazing. He's won 2 Oscars for a reason. The guy's awesome, and he's great in everything he's in, even in bad movies. Then he's been in some bad ones, but he's always the standout. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm glad that it's not going to be pushed to the Disney Plus. As much as I'm excited about Disney Plus and getting to spend 8 hours with Wanda and Vision, I'm very excited to see what Kevin Feige will do with a 2.5 hour Blade movie starring Mahershala Ali. I think that's going to be dope. Let's go to Boatman first. Boatman, have you seen Blade? And are you excited about this Blade?
Tim, some motherfuckers just can't skate uphill.
It's Maggie's favorite line, too. She hates it, actually.
The best line in the movie. It's the best line.
Oh my god.
Blade is just such a 90s ridiculous movie that I can't bring myself to hate it, even though I probably should, because it's not great. Let's be 100% honest. But it's fun in its like not greatness. It's fine. It's fine. But the character Blade is interesting. I'm very excited to see Mahershala Ali play this character because Mahershala Ali is great in everything. The one thing I am kind of like, what? Is now that canonically means that vampires exist within the MCU. And that's the one thing that's kind of like, oh, okay, that's fine. But now that's another thing to deal with.
What if we find out through flashbacks that Bucky actually didn't kill the Starks and that he just maimed or seriously injured them, and then a vampire found them, and the vampire's the one that actually killed them? No? Maggie, your thoughts on Blade? And now that Boatman has pointed out to us that this is going to be something you're going to have to think about, what are your thoughts?
Like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like really any of the Blade movies. I think they're all pretty terrible. I'm sure that whatever the MCU does will be better, I hope. I don't know. I don't know if it's the character. I mean, the character's pretty dope, I guess, sometimes. But now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's like all this weird mythical shit. But I guess Thor is all weird mythical shit, too. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I trust them, and Mahershala Ali's great, so it'll be fine.
All right. Koho, your take.
I think we all reacted fine when they introduced magic in Phase 3 with Doctor Strange. Like, I think at this point, they can keep introducing things at different points, and it's just things we haven't been privy to, but they've always been there, you know? That just means Blade fucking does his job, because we don't know what the fuck about vampires, and this guy's been killing them all, and now it's gotten to a point where now we need to know about Blade and the vampires because it's bigger than him. I think that's where we're at, and I think that's cool. And it's just a fun new corner of a giant ass universe that we get to play in now, and I can't wait to see Mahershala in it. I love all the new characters they're setting up to introduce here in phases 4 and 5. Like between the Moon Knight casting and Blade and all the different characters we're starting to get, I feel like Blade is going to be like the face of all these darker MCU characters that are going to be populating this new corner of the universe. And that's super exciting to me. I love Mahershala Ali, so I was super hyped when he walked out and I was like, I'm Blade. I was like, let's go. So I kind of like the Blade movies. My dad loves them. I think they're fine. They're fun. Blade has one of my favorite movie lines of all time with the some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. But yeah, I'm actually just kind of shocked. Like it makes sense. The news that it was supposed to be a show, because like Moon Knight's a show, She-Hulk's a show, a lot of the similar characters are getting shows. So like the fact that they just got that big a name, they were like movie, makes sense. So that like this news just kind of makes sense, and I'm just kind of happy that it's going the way it is. So,
all right, let's move on to the next thing. Yes, they were. Absolutely. We're going to go into the realm of horror now. Spooky season is over. But we still got to talk about some spooky stuff. Much to Michael Campbell's pleasure, he's not watching the show right now, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
And he'll show up.
And then name this movie and he will appear. The teaser for Halloween Kills dropped, I believe, on Halloween. And it's dope. I know that me and Maggie are probably the bigger fans of this franchise on this call. That being said, this looks great. I have a lot of like nitty gritty things I would love to talk about with this. Primarily just the look of Michael still looks great. He looked great in the 2018 one, but when you look at the character's history, there are a lot of Halloween movies where, like, the first two, like, the first one, he goes to a store, he buys a mask, he puts it on, and the first two movies take place on one night. So the mask is very nice and clean, and because he just bought it. And then in 4, it's still very clean. And then in 5, somehow it's cleaner. And it's like, don't you think this mask would get a little bloody? It would be a little gross at some point. And that's exactly what happened in this movie. And I love the look. I love the look of it all. So I'm very excited. Koho, is someone who isn't or just hasn't seen all the movies. What's your take?
I liked the last one. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I should probably rewatch it now that I've seen the first one, because I think I'll probably like it even more. But yeah, like, I'm interested. I'll see it. The last one was dope. So, yeah.
Boatman, your take on Halloween Kills?
Yeah, I still haven't seen 2018's Halloween, so I need to. But once I do, I feel like I would be more excited for Halloween Kills because I heard 2018's Halloween was really good.
Spoiler alert for the 2018 one.
Oh.
Michael lives.
Well, Michael always lives. It's a killer in a slasher movie. Even when Michael dies, he lives.
It's true.
I don't know. Maybe they've tricked us. Maggie, what's your thoughts?
No, I'm super excited. I mean, I'm obviously bummed that we didn't get to see it this year like we were supposed to, but I love Halloween, and the 2018 Halloween movie was awesome, and I'm very excited to see what happens. And they leave it ambiguous as to whether Michael's dead at the end of 2018's Halloween. So,
but we have this movie.
Yeah, I know, but they have to explain it to me. So,
all right. Well, let's move on to the final story of the day. This one I kind of care about a little bit. Patrick Wilson, God's gift to humanity. If we're being completely honest, Patrick Wilson is easily one of the greatest humans to ever walk the face of the earth. And he's directing Insidious 5, or as Koho so eloquently put it, in 5DS. If that's what they call that movie, it will be Fantastic. In 5DS will definitely be what I call it. I don't like this franchise at all. I really don't, which is weird because I really love James Wan, but those first two movies I didn't really like. I like that Lee Winnell directed the third one. I think that was cool. That was a good step for him to get into directing. But I thought the movie was just fine. The fourth one's an abomination. We walked out of it. So if this is a way to get Patrick Wilson to, try directing, cool. I'm into it, but I don't know. I don't care about, I do not care about this movie at all, but I will support Patrick Wilson because he is my angel of music. Maggie, let's go to you next. Your thoughts on In 5DS.
Yeah, I agree with you that I'm not a big fan of the Insidious movies at all. But he's great, and I will probably see anything that he does. And he's still going to be in it, right? I would assume.
He wasn't in the third or the fourth one.
Really? Oh, well, then that makes me a little bit more sad. But yeah, like you said, if it's what gets him to try directing and he ends up being great, then great. And if it ends up being bad, then it's just another Insidious movie. So. Yeah.
Koho, what about you?
I've never seen any of these, but it seems like something that he cares about, that he's passionate about. So knock yourself out. I think Patrick Wilson is a human with no discernible qualities as an actor, but he is a fine person. He is someone, I told this to Boatman the other day, I could see him playing either Superman or Lex Luthor and doing both fine. He's that kind of an actor to me. I think he's a competent actor. He's never he's never really bad, but he's never really incredible. I never object to seeing him. So it's like, cool, Patrick Wilson. But sure, if he wants to direct, let him direct. Fuck it. It's Insidious 5. And I will riot if they don't call it Insidious.
Insidious.
That needs to be the name. They will call it that, or I will riot.
Boatman, do you care about Insidious?
Not really, but what I do care about is that Patrick Wilson is basically if Will Arnett had Taylor Kitsch syndrome. Basically, not Taylor Kitsch was not a bad actor.
No,
I'm saying in a sense of he is. If Will Arnett, he looks like Will Arnett. If Will Arnett got the types of roles that Taylor Kitsch got, that is who Patrick Wilson is. Here's the thing. I think that Patrick Wilson knows what real horror is because anyone who had to be involved with the Hallelujah scene in Watchmen knows what real horror is. So I think he'll be able to scare us.
This is true.
That's true.
Am I wrong?
He was also very good in the Roland Emmerich classic Midway. Let's not forget about Midway, guys. Maggie and I saw that at 4:00 in the afternoon on a $5 Tuesday. Let's not forget. And
didn't want to spend more than $5 on it. Let's be honest here.
Oh, 100%. That's what it was. 100%. Yeah. So I think Boatman's actually probably right. Is that he does get stuck in a lot of weird movies. Like first, the Midway, like I just said, and then he was in that Liam Neeson one, the one with the train. What was that called?
The Commuter.
Shit. The Commuter. Yes,
That's right.
he was in that.
Well, he shows up in the first 5 minutes, and you're like, why would they only have Patrick Wilson in the? Oh,
Yeah, I wonder what could it be happening.
I
with
wonder
that.
if he was maybe. And then wasn't he in The Founder with Michael Keaton? He was in that.
I
But, like,
forgot.
Yeah, I think he was in that. But it's like smaller roles, so it's just like he just keeps getting stuck. And like he doesn't have this like breakout thing. But I thought he was great in Aquaman.
I was just gonna say, I feel like Aquaman is a breakout thing.
And I think he's great in the Conjuring movies too. I think I genuinely do love Patrick Wilson. I always think that he's great. He just gets. I think Boatman's right though. He gets stuck in movies sometimes that are yikes. And now that I'm on his IMDb and I'm looking, apparently he's the voice of POTUS in Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm.
That will not be a filmography that I write. Okay, so
Don't worry, I already wrote that a long time ago.
yikes. Okay, all hail Patrick Wilson.
He also is actually decent in the movie Hard Candy, but that movie is not good.
Well, Tim, didn't you watch the Fargo TV show?
Oh yeah, he's great in Fargo.
He is the only thing that I like in season 2 of Fargo. I will say that.
Oh.
I hate season 2 of Fargo. I think he is real good in that. So I will walk back my statement about Patrick Wilson never being the best part of something. He is the best part of season 2 of Fargo.
All right, there we go. Well, guys, it was a short one and a sweet one, but that's the show. We're gonna talk about one more thing real quick. Tomorrow on YLS, it is best movies under 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yours truly is going to be on the show. Who else is on it? Koho? I don't know.
We have Thomas Scully, we have Adelaide Spence, and we have Matt Queller.
Just shoot me now. Shoot me in the head now. I don't know if I'll be able to get through 2 hours of that, but it'll be a good time nonetheless. And then Thursday, there's a brand new fan zone in the AM. So be on the lookout for that. I believe that is Jacoby Bancroft versus Nazario Montenegro. So that was a very intense match. That is a good one that you don't want to miss. And then Boatman, what's going on with Mix Up? All the Mix Up stuff.
Thursday, Mild Stallions, Brian Michaels and Adelaide Spence play me and Thomas Eames. Friday afternoon, this guy right here and Jacoby Bancroft take on Andrew Barr and Ryan Payne. And Friday night, we have Mark Menchaca and Zach Ford taking on Antonio and Brannon.
That is a lot of shit that is mixed up. Let me tell you, damn. And then what do we have in Fandom?
We have our last two quarterfinal matches. We have Big Guns versus Ascendant, and we have the Irish brothers playing Schizo.
Lots of Kingsman and lots of Koho this weekend.
It is a very me weekend.
In the world of trivia. But guys, we'll be back here next week, same time, same bat channel. But watch all those things. 2X Trivia Night on Sunday. Miscellaneous is off this week, but they'll be back the following. And lots of stuff. So just be on the lookout for it all as we ramp up to the end of the year here. It's getting close. We're getting close to the end, but it's coming. It's going to be a good one. So for all of us here, thank you so much. Grab a Michelob Ultra, kiss your loved ones. Good night.
You're still here? It's over.
She's out of our hair, and just when I dare to care, she says, au contraire, you're my pair of friends. I love you.
Keep it together, man.